back to Pachter Factor, fellow babies. This is Michael Pachter of YouTube and Patreon fame. And if you're a YouTube subscriber or a Patreon subscriber, you know what I was talking about. If you are neither of those, then you're getting this a week late, unless you figured out a way to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. Pretty easy. There are instructions in the show description below. If you're getting it a week late, follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter, and I will continue to impart my wisdom to you, although you'll hear about it a week later than when I said it.
This episode of Pachter Factor is brought to you by DeShazer Ryan Realty. Right now, Doug DeShazer has beautiful lots available adjacent to Koocanusa Lake in northwest Montana. Pull up your RV and access the hookups, or build your own construction. Either way, you have access to world-class fishing, hunting, boating, swimming, biking, hiking, and the internet. No matter where you're looking to buy, make Doug DeShazer your real estate consultant at 406-291-1643. That's Doug DeShazer at 406-291-1643.
Our question today from YouTube from Mr. Shablagoo. Do you think the internet as a whole is ruining the enjoyment of video games, or do you feel it helps unify different communities and spreads the medium to new audiences? Do you think the marketing benefits outweigh the cultural costs of online toxicity? Why do you think that such a large segment of gamers are so aggressive and angry online? Is the medium upbringing or something else? That's a really profound, thoughtful question. I think that the internet, let's leave games out for a second. The internet allows people to be anonymous and hide. And, I think that people can be rude without fear of repercussion. So they are. And a lot of people overstep it and they get really toxic and nasty. I don't think that ruins enjoyment of video games as much as it ruins enjoyment of the internet. And so, I think that it's important for game companies to kind of eliminate anonymity, and they won't. They should. I don't think that you have any real right to be anonymous online, and I think I would love to see every account every game account be forced to post a picture with a government ID that proves who they are. You may not have to put the picture up, but the game company should be able to enforce violation of rules by saying, if you are found guilty of toxicity, we're going to put your picture next to your real name from now on, and then that will end. Now the problem is, and here's the internet in general, you say something on the internet about a person, and if you say so-and-so is pro-trans or anti-trans or pro-choice or anti-choice, people will show up at their house and throw eggs at them. People will attack them. That's a problem. People will attack their businesses. That's a problem. The internet's become this source of, what do you call it, doxing, when you out somebody. It's bad. And so, I think this happened to me, not on this show, on the predecessor with Shane though, on Game Trailers. I actually had a death threat. And for something I said on Bonus Round or pach-attack or whatever, I had a death threat. And the lawyers from Viacom got involved and said, hey, this guy's posting pictures of your house and the address, and we've stomped it out. But what the hell? And it was because I said the late great Mr. Iwata or something. I can't remember. Was that this show or was that pach-attack?
That was pach-attack.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, you disrespected Mr. Iwata, therefore we're going to kill you. Like, what the hell? Like, just be tolerant of other people's opinions. And so I think the internet is a cesspool, is horrifically toxic. And I think your question, because I'm sure you're a gamer, it's not just games, it's everything. Twitter is a cesspool because the owner is, standing in waders in the middle of all the poop and loves flinging it at everybody because he's a jerk. The cultural cost of online toxicity is a threat to our very existence. It's terrible. And I actually think the internet breeds mass shooters. I think the internet breeds terrorists. I mean, I think the internet is bad, period. Now, the better question is, are the good things on the internet, enough to offset the bad things? Obviously, or the internet would be shut down. The internet lets us get information pretty quickly. If you are at least diligent in the sources, you get good information pretty quickly. Lets you disseminate pretty quickly. Lets you, buy things online. And there's lots of reasons why we like it. Lets you find your old high school friends on Facebook. That's got value. So at the end of the day, I'd say the internet has expanded access to games, especially mobile. But you're getting more games to more audiences as you ask. So yes, I think that the games industry benefits from internet and access. The whole world loses from the 5%, 2% toxic jerks. And as I said, the easy way to get rid of the jerks, dox them. So I'm serious. Like the guy who made a death threat against me, you know what? I know Viacom did it and took him down and whatever, maybe report him to authorities. Send me his name and address. And let me out him on a pach-attack. And let me talk about this guy threatened my life. If you know him, diss him. And I'll leave the company's name out, but I just spoke with a company that inadvertently hired one of the sexual harassers at Activision who had left, and the person's job resume just said they worked at Activision on whatever game. And when this firm found out, they had a real problem getting rid of him because they never would have hired him. And that's where it's sometimes anonymity. And again, those guys are bad. You shouldn't hire a person like that because that's a person could be creating the same problem at your firm. And they were never outed. You didn't get all the names. It came out later when the individual women who were harassed filed individual lawsuits. But that's the problem. I think people who are toxic and terrible should not work, should not be offered opportunities to do anything. Like, let's get them. And if you make the consequences of bad behavior severe enough, people will behave better. So there are people like me who are generally polite because I want to be, and I think it's a better way to interact with people. There are people who just really, truly don't care, and they're rude to everybody all the time. Imagine those people with a cloak of anonymity. And again, my Twitter handle, @Michael Pachter. I'm not trying to hide. And that was my name on NeoGAF, @Michael Pachter. Like, I always use my real name. I'm not hiding. I say what I think, and if you don't like it, great. Disagree. Just don't kill me. Don't kill my family. So, anyway, good question. It's profound. It's the medium. Upbringing is part of it, but I think that people are socialized, or at least in the past, were socialized by interaction with other people. And if the interaction was on the playground where the teacher got mad at you if you hit another kid, you and other kids booed you and said you were bad for hitting the other kid, you learn not to hit the other kid. If you're on the internet and you hit the kid with a verbal assault, a toxic assault, and nobody disciplines you, you learn that behavior is tolerated and you do it again. So I think that it's the lack of consequences and the way we've changed how society monitors our behavior. And the question on upbringing, parents just check out. They let their kids do whatever they want. And in fairness, my parents checked out too, but I was out socializing with real people. So I got my social cues from other people. If you get your social cues from the neo-Nazi website you're on all day, like that guy who leaked classified documents, like, go look at his history. He hung out with just like fringe weirdo groups and then came up with the idea, hey, I think I'll share some government secrets. That was bright. He's going to jail. So those consequences are severe enough to warn someone that maybe you shouldn't do that. If they don't hear it, I don't care. because there's nothing I'm going to do to change the behavior. Gamers get so invested in whatever they're playing. You have this moment where you go, "Fuck you." I don't know if it's worse on games because I don't monitor toxic behavior on the internet, so I'm not the expert in that. On games, gamers are passionate. I have no idea what caused Gamergate. That was the weirdest freaking time of our lives. I don't get it. It was bad. And I those people, I wish they would publish the name of every person who participated in bashing women on Gamergate. Like, let every employer know who they are. I love this shit, when somebody is like, whatever, racist, and then they're on Twitter or wherever, and they're reported to their boss and they lose their job. I love that. So the way to deal with this behavior is punish the people who are offenders and publicize it and let people know if you're offensive enough, you will lose your job. I love that. January 6th, a bunch of guys got fired for being charged in January 6th. Guess what? You're criminally charged. Public record. Your name. So you got to do. There are consequences to bad behavior. And if there are none, people will be bad. Imagine if there was a store with nobody working there and no cameras, how many people would steal? A lot more than currently steal. So that you've got to have consequences. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. We hope you are watching as a Patreon patron or as a YouTube subscriber. If you are, you're getting it real time. We also encourage you to link your Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime accounts. We get paid a couple bucks a month. It costs you nothing, so please remember to do so and re-up it every time you watch. The instructions are in our show description below. If you're doing none of those things because you're too lame, have no money, or you just don't care, follow me on Twitter @Michael Pachter. And you're too lame. If you're too lame to link your Prime account, you're too lame to follow me on Twitter, but I'll still be nice to you.